Okay, I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who've got a pocket knife, a bit like this one, a bit of a state, as you see, bits missing, etc. The steel itself is actually quite good. This little Whitby, that's not too bad at all. It's not an expensive knife, but it is equally very, very useful. I can close it with one hand, it's quite useful like so. Over a period of time, you have to sharpen. This is not horrendous, I've seen a lot worse, but it's not brilliant either. It definitely isn't. It is in dire need to be resharpened. I'm going to do it on just an ordinary Oilstone. This is a double-sided India stone. They're very good quality, but you can use other ones. Cheap ones will do as well, but you might find them to be a little bit on the soft side. So you have to be a bit careful when you're sharpening curved surfaces because you can damage your Oilstone. In some ways, you might be better off with a diamond stone. If that's what you got, you can use that. But instead of using oil, for which I'm using here, you can use water with a diamond sharpening stone. Okay, so basically we have to create a grind. So I'm going to start with a coarse stone first. You can get guides to do this, but I don't think it's really necessary. Not for a knife. So effectively I get my angle, figure of 8 motion, and I'll do the flat of the blade, then move on to the angle of the blade. Now you see I'm working in the middle of the stone. Now these stones tend to wear in the middle faster than the end. So sometimes it's a good idea to actually just make some use of the end of the stone. You don't want to end up with a curved stone, especially if you don't have a means of actually flattening the stone. I'm using a nice circular motion. The main thing is maintaining that angle. You know, that is your cutting angle, which needs to be around 30 degrees. If you make it much steeper than that, you'll lose the edge so fast. Basically grinding the main angle on the edge. Basically I'm using this coarse stone to grind the angle onto the blade. That will not be the sharpened edge. So you use a little circular motion, figure of 8, you work out to the tip, maintaining the angle. So you've got to have a little bit of control because you don't want to create a round. That's what you don't want. If you're locking, you must hold that blade in that fixed position. You see what I'm doing there? My arm is in like almost mechanical, become robotic. I'm using a little circular motion, just bringing that round to do the curve of the tip of the blade. Now you want to make sure when you're sharpening all the way to the tip. Okay, so that's effectively, that's one side I've done. Hopefully that has made a difference. And I can see the flattening of the areas for which weren't ground very well before. And now I'm just going to spend a little bit of time doing the flat of the blade as well. You've got to use your own judgment as well. You can see it. Now, as a little tip, it's a good idea to have a pair of ready specs, like you'd use for reading glasses. And if you have a pair of 2.5 times, 3 times, depending on what your eyesight is like. If your eyesight is very good and you don't require glasses, well then you get away with that 2 times. Where that's really useful is you can examine the edge of the blade quite easily. It's almost like having a magnifying glass, yeah? But when you're sitting this close like I am, I'm sitting down at the moment in front of the stone to sharpen my knives, and I can see with the ready specs, and these are mine, these are my ready specs. These are actually not reading, these are actually, these particular safety specs here are varifocals, and also they're 2.5 times, so 2 times magnification, which is what I require. But they allow me to get that little bit closer and I can see exactly what I'm doing, and I can see exactly the difference that I'm making on the edge of that blade. Now you can see there's some damage on the edge of the blade. Well, I've actually sharpened it with a pocket diamond sharpener. That's all very well, but when you're on site you don't have a lot of choice really. It's a good idea to have a stone ready where you can just spend a little time, maybe with a beer or gin and tonic. Run your finger sideways across the blade, not along. If you run along it, you will cut yourself. If you just do this, you can feel it, and if it grabs, the more it grabs, the sharper it is. Feel the areas of the blade that has or has not got any edge whatsoever. Well, that's actually pretty good, even with this particular stone. So I'm just going to finish that on there like so. Yep, that's that. But then I'm going to flip the stone over. This side of the stone is of a much finer grit. So I'm just going to wipe off the excess off the top there, because I don't want the bits of rubbish that are stuck to it to interfere with my sharpening. So here we go, I'll put it on like so. Finish off now on the fine. Work mainly on the end of the stone, bring it around to the tip. Doing pretty much exactly what I was doing in the first stage. And if you can see, there's little bits of metal. The colour of the oil's changed into dark, which basically they are the grindings. All the sharpenings. that's certainly doing the job. Onto that, you've got to try and maintain that mechanical positioning of your body. Like I say, you can get guides to do this, but no two blades are the same. It's okay using a sharpening guide or jig or a rest for something that has a flat edge, like a plane iron or a chisel. But when you've got something that has this curve in it, like so, you have to use a little bit of judgment on your own behalf. You have to think for yourself. Pretty sharp at that point. This side is done. That side I think it might need a little bit of work still. So I'm trying to, that's it. I'm trying to maintain 30-degree angle. You can get a very simple little device like this, and I used to have marked at 25 and 30 because they're the two angles that I use the most. That is usually my bevel grind, which is 25 degrees, and 30 degrees is my usual practical sharpening angle. And all you do is you literally place this in to see what angle the edge is at. So you press one side of the edge on there. Yeah, so it is about around the 30-degree mark. So it's not bad. It still needs a bit of work. So you get a bit of a burr. When you get that burr, you have to do 2 strokes on each side. So you're bending the burr one way, and you're bending the burr, and that'll break off. The burr will literally break off, and that'll provide you with a very sharp edge. So that's fairly sharp. For a pocket knife, that's not too bad at all. It could be sharper. That certainly does the job. So that's how you sharpen your pocket knife using an oilstone such as this one. This is the other way you can, as you see, I'm using palm of my hand. Some people think I'm mad, but I've been doing it all my life and I haven't had an issue yet. I'm still here. And stroke them one way, then the other, like that. You do it very quickly. So yeah, that's very sharp. Now look, see, look at that. It was a bit of a manky knife, obviously hasn't been looked after very well, stick in the bottom of a drawer somewhere. In this case it was in a toolbox, and I might actually make it a new handle, I think, looking at it, because it is actually a very useful knife. So I like the fact that it's a one-handed arrangement like so. There you go. If you're most kind, give us a thumbs up and comment below if you've got any questions or any ideas for new videos, etc. I'd be really appreciative. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. If you subscribe, I'll subscribe back. Thank you for watching.